Hello everyone, welcome back for day 2 of circles. And so today we are going to be able to label the circle and the radius by looking at an equation and then taking it one step further and graphing it. So I want to do one quick little reminder of what the equation looks like for a circle. And so it is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So just remembering that and having that in front of you is going to be a good reference while we do the couple problems today. So first, example 5 says find the center and the radius for this equation here. So we are going to start with the center. We're going to start with the trickier part. And so the center is always h comma k, x and then the y. So if you notice, in the original equation it's x minus whatever the h is. And so this is x minus 16. So the h and the 16 match up. They're both being subtracted. So in this case, our h is going to be 16. Now, if you look here, it's minus k, but this is plus 9. The sign has been changed. So instead of it being a plus 9 for k, k is going to be a minus 9. Because if you plugged in a negative 9 where this was, you'd end up with a double negative, which would turn into adding. So our center for this is going to be 16 comma negative 9. So it's basically like just the opposites. And then for our radius, to find our r, it equals the square root of 144. And so our radius, the square root of 144 is 12. So our radius is 12. And our center is 16 comma negative 9. We're going to do this one more time. So if we look over here, we're going to go and work with the center first. So the center is h comma k. And so this is plus 8, but the original was a minus. So instead, now it's going to be a negative 8 for our h. And then for our k value, this is a plus 3. So again, it's now the opposite. So it's going to be negative 3. So that's our center. To find your center, it's always just the opposite of whatever those two numbers are. And then to find the radius equals the square root. So in this case, the square root of 121 is 11. So to find the center, you take the opposite of both of those. The x goes first, the y goes second. And then to get the radius, you just square root whatever it is equal to. So that's the first two examples of the day. Now we're going to just take it one step further. We're going to find the center and the radius from the equation, and then we're going to graph it. So we're going to first start by the center, finding the center. All right, and so center is h comma k. And what I was saying before is it's just the opposite of whatever is by the x and by the y. So in this case, the opposite of positive 1 is going to be negative 1. And the opposite of the negative 3 is going to be positive 3. So our center is going to be negative 1, positive 3. And then we have to find our radius. And our radius just equals the square root of whatever number that is, so 9. And the square root of 9 is 3. So our radius is going to be 3. And our center is going to be at negative 1, 3. So we're going to plot these points. We're going to go over to negative 1 and down 3. And then our radius is 3, so we're going to count out 3 boxes going in every direction. going left, going right, down, and up. And just like what we did yesterday, you're going to kind of gracefully try and make it look like a circle. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect, but as long as you have the dots plotted, that's really what counts. We're going to do this one more time for good old example 8 here. And so we got to start by finding the center. And the center is h comma k. And so to do that, it's the opposite. H is always the opposite of this number, and the k is the opposite of that. So the opposite of -4 is going to be +4, and the opposite of +2 is going to be -2. And now we're going to find the radius. So we have to square root that number, and the square root of 4 is 2. So our radius is 2, and our center is going to be 4, -2. So we start by plotting the center. So we're going to go over to 4. We're going to go down 2. And now we're going to have our radius, which is 2. So we're going to count 2 boxes in each direction and plot our points. To the right, down, left, and up. And then you just circle them around. So that's it for today. Simpler than day 1. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me through email, through Schoology, or my Google Voice account. Have a wonderful day.